I watched The Prince of Egypt tonight. Now, I'd seen it a couple times already. I've watched it a couple times in the last few years. I've shown it to a bunch of different people. But it is always a profound experience every single time I watch it. Everything is so beautiful and so big and epic and deep and meaningful. It can't have been an easy task bringing such a famous biblical story to life, especially with, they took artistic licenses, of course, and of course there are parts of the story that are left out. Changes have to be made to fit the format, but they did such a good job. I know many religious leaders were talked to and interviewed to make this movie as accurate as possible. And I really like the music as well. It's such a good story. It's such a good experience all around. Utterly wonderful. I don't know how to exactly describe it other than it's pure emotion, but there is still a structure to it. And I like the creative choices. I like the dynamic of Moses and Ramesses. I like the comedy. I like the drama. The pacing is amazing. It's a story that everybody knows, but it feels so fresh and different the way it's done. And this is one I do remember watching in Sunday school growing up. And rightfully so. I'm so glad that this is out there. I always wonder how would it have been made today, but I'm glad it exists as is. I'm glad more people seem to be talking about it. A lot of people do know about that movie, which is really wonderful to know because it should be known. And it's my understanding that DreamWorks made it for the art as opposed to for business reasons. But I'm curious as to how this got started. I can't say I have a favorite part. I think they're all the characters are so wonderful in how they're portrayed, and even though they're celebrity voice actors, I never feel that it's distracting, because I honestly forget. I see the characters, and sometimes with celebrity voice actors you can tell, and if you know someone's work a little too well, it can suck you out of it. But here, none of that. Absolutely none of that. It is a big movie, and it feels like there were different techniques used to bring this to life. It doesn't really look like your typical DreamWorks film or even a typical Disney film. It looks and feels like its own thing. It looks like it has some CGI in there, early CGI, but it's never distracting. It always blends seamlessly. The backgrounds look like they're painted. It looks like, honestly, a work of art that you'd see in a museum. Just an utterly gorgeous movie. And even if you don't know the story, even if you never got a religious education, I feel like you could follow it okay, because the Moses story is so known and so ingrained in pop culture and so ingrained in humanity. At least 3 different religions are familiar with that story and are taught it. The Abrahamic religions. So that's such a cool angle. I'm curious as to what people who are more religious than me or less religious than me have to say about it. Because even taking the religious aspect out of it, it is really impressive. It's presented in such a simple way that everybody can get it, but it is also so profound and so big and grand and important. It feels like a very important film, but also entertaining. It feels like feels very historically accurate. Artistic licenses are taken, but there's still, especially with the brotherly relationship of Moses and Ramesses, that feels like something that is true throughout human history. People did have close relationships, and even if the details and the time and place have changed, the way the people's bonds, different relationships, close relationships, that is something that's always been a truth in humanity. It's an utterly beautiful piece, and it's one that actually makes me tear up because I'm so moved by it at the beginning and the end. It's a great film. I don't know how to properly analyze it because I just finished watching it, so I'm running on pure emotion right now. It's a great film. What else can I say? It's hard to analyze when I'm just in such awe